All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Kansas City Chiefs rookie defensive lineman Ashton Gillotte. Gillotte making his NFL debut for the Chiefs in the preseason, and he showcased a lot of versatility, a lot of playmaking ability at the defensive end position. A lot of people were wondering what the Chiefs were going to use Gillotte for on defense, and I tell you what, folks, they got a lot of options because this guy can make plays in a bunch of different ways, and we'll get to all of that on the film. If you have any feedback for us, or if there's another player you want us to break down, put them in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up with a run defense, and there's Ashton Gillotte right there on the left side of your screen. So he's going to actually be on the back side of the defense on this play. So you can see right here, the Arizona Cardinals, they're going to end up running a power concept. We're going to get a double team inside right here, working up to the backside linebacker, center blocking back, anchor down technique on the backside guard pulling and leading the way in the hole with the tight end basing number 91, and the running back following through just like this. You talk about effort on the backside from Ashton Gillotte. This is exactly what you want. You get the anchor down technique here. You do your jump, secure the backside contain, and then you hustle it with effort and make the tackle. Love this kind of stuff. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the double team right there inside. You can see the tackle working up to the backside linebacker, center working back right there. Anchor down technique from the backside tackle. You can see the Arizona Cardinals tight end on the play side trying to base number 91. Guard working through, trying to get on the linebacker. He actually gets on him. Decent little play right here. Here's the cutback across the board. Look at this hole, guys, right here. Open up. Oh, my goodness. Look at this right here. Right off this guard's butt. This is going to be, or the tackle's butt, excuse me. This is going to be a huge play. One-on-one in the safety for a touchdown, maybe. But what do you get on the backside? You talk about effort. You talk about winning football. There you go. Limit the damage. Still a 7-yard run, but I tell you what, imagine if Gilotte's not there and he's not playing hard. This running back's out the gate one-on-one with number 6 for a touchdown. This is really well blocked, really good design, really well ran right here by the Arizona Cardinals. Ashton Gillotte comes out of nowhere with effort, hustle, handling his business, going above and beyond, guys. That's the key, because you can see right here, he's looking at the quarterback. The quarterback with the Arizona Cardinals is a big part of the running offense, so he's trying to maintain, contain, all eyes on him. Once he realizes it's a handoff, he shows that championship effort, makes it with a good form tackle. Great rep. All right, from the wide copy, you get a really good look at how close this was to a big play against the Chiefs defense. So right here, there's that crease, folks. There is nobody there. It's one-on-one with the safety, and the running back's got a lot of grass to play with, guys. There's a chance he's out the gate for like a 70-yard touchdown. But you get Ashton Gillotte doing his job, looking at the quarterback. Oh, it's a handoff. Play off the block. Make the tackle. This is that next level effort that separates the Chiefs and how they play defense and how they play football from the rest of the National Football League. I think a lot of it's culture. I think a lot of it is finding guys in the draft that fit their culture, and Ashton Gillotte is a perfect example of it right here. All right, how about a little pass rush? There's Ashton Gillotte right there on the left side of your screen. So right here, we're going to get the Arizona Cardinals. They're sliding their entire offensive line to the right, the left side of your screen. So the tackle's going to work on this gap. This guard's working on this gap. Center working on this gap. This guard working down in here. This tackle working down hard inside right here. And this tight end, he's going to essentially be one-on-one with inside leverage on number 91 for the Kansas City Chiefs. It looks like a run. That's why you have all these guys slant down just like this. You're trying to sell run to see if you can get something behind the linebackers here. Ashton Gillotte does a great job. He reads run right off the rip as the blocker comes to him. Then he works around into a pass rush, forces the quarterback to step up. This is what you want to see from your defensive ends. Let's check it out. There's a snap, little play action. Quarterback looking down the field, forced to step up. Right there, you'd love to see some defensive tackles, right? He's able to hit the check down for a pretty successful play. Let's go back to Ashton Gillotte right here on the left side of your screen, right? The tackle goes to him. He reads run for a second, shocks. You see how long he uses his arms right there, extends, battles through, works around, uses his speed, forces the quarterback to step up in the pocket. Look, is this an all-pro rep? No, this isn't. This is going to put you in the Hall of Fame, folks. But this is good right here from a defensive end perspective. You see if runs coming to you, you do your assignment. You see how he starts right here. His initial contact is almost a run defense stance, like right there. Shoulders, feet, hips, parallel to line of scrimmage. Checking the run, sees its play action. Now you work through the tackle, get pressure on the quarterback. You would hope your teammates would be there, some defensive tackles. I mean, they get completely blown out of the water right here. 94 gets blown by the quarterback. You can see right here, 91 takes a long track, but he's a defensive end on that side. You can see 99. He gets completely blown out of the way, right? He's nowhere close to anyone. Look at that right there. You would love to have teammates there in an ideal situation. Let's say if this was the regular season and Gillotte comes off the edge, forces an opposing quarterback to step up, Chris Jones will absolutely saw him in half. So what we see from Ashton Gillotte fits exactly what the Chiefs need in terms of how they play defense stylistically. Great rep right here from the rookie. All right, from the wide copy, it looks pretty good. Watch Ashton Gillotte right there. Looks like run, reads its pass, works through the tackle, forces the quarterback to step up. Again, maintains good effort the entire time. I love the way he can transition. We talk about a playmaker right here between a run defender into a pass rush and do both at a high level. It's going to be a really important skill for any defender, certainly in this very multiple Chiefs defense. All right, how about one of my favorite plays from Ashton Gillotte? And look, he had a lot of really great plays. We'll get to all of them. There he is right there on the right side of your screen. He's lined up in what I will call a 6 or 6-eye technique, head up on the tight end. The tight end's going to outside release to try and get into a route. Gilotte's going to chip him and then get into a pass rush one-on-one right here on the tackle. But it's a quick throw where it's supposed to be a quick throw. Ashton Gillotte recognizes it, reacts, completely disrupts the play. This is a phenomenal effort, just smart, high IQ kind of player here. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap right there. He chips the tight end trying to outside release. He gets one-on-one with the tackle. He sees the quarterback trying to throw it. Watch what he does. Jumps up in the air. Quarterback has to tuck it down. You talk about completely disrupting the first read right there. That's awesome. Again, just recognizing it's a quick throw. You knowing he's not going to get to the quarterback, right? Okay, I'm doing my job right here post-snap, chipping this tight end, and now I'm going to get up to get in the passing lane. That's awesome. And right here when the quarterback starts scrambling, gets around everyone and still tries to threaten the quarterback. So he's got it all, right? He's doing the team first stuff. He's going to chip the tight end to help out there. He knows he's not going to get the quarterback. Smart, recognize, react, get in the passing lane, and then high effort there to finish it off. Look, Kyler Murray does a good job keeping the play alive for a productive play, but Ashton Gillotte here, once again, this is a common theme with this guy. He goes above and beyond, does his job right there. Smart play, recognizes and reacts on top of it, and then high-level effort to finish it. He's going to be a really good player for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, from the wide copy, again, watch him chip. Elevate right there. Again, quarterback wants to throw it. He can't. He's going to tuck it. Then he gets around the tackle. Right here, Kyler Murray does a really good job. Receivers keep working. You'd like to see this corner number 30. I think he gets a little lost right here. In this situation, that was a pretty good play design because you're kind of got to pick your poison right here. So right here, Ashton Gillotte gets in the throwing lane. 30's just looking around. He has no idea what's happening. It's a scramble drill situation. Look, these are tough, right? This is where just nightmares can happen if you're a defensive back because you're like, who's behind me? What scramble's going on? Instead, he kind of backs away. He sees it when it's too late. Ends up being a productive play for the Arizona Cardinals offense. But again, Ashton Gillotte going above and beyond all the way back to the beginning here. Chip, nice rep. Get the throwing lane right there. Awesome. High-level effort to finish. Really good player in Kansas City. All right, how about some play side run defense? There's Gillotte right there. This time he's lined up in a 5 technique on the outside shoulder of that offensive tackle. It's going to be a zone concept. So we got the tight end trying to base reach there. We're going to get the tackle taking this gap, trying to base reach Gillotte. We're going to see the guard with a little help here, trying to work into this gap. Center working to take over. Backside cutoffs here across the board. Running back trying to take this path right here and then trying to look for a cutback if he can. Otherwise, he'll keep it wide, see if there's a hole there. Gilotte's going to try and backdoor it right here. I don't know if that was just his decision or if that was the play call, but he does a really good job fighting through contact, draws a penalty that should have been called, and then finishes with high-level effort. Again, he's just a really complete player, great playmaker. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. We can see Gillotte backdoor it right there. You can see the tackle trying to reach him. At the last second, he holds his arm. Little holding right there. We can see this guard right there. He sees Gillotte flash. He's like, oh, crap. He holds him too. So we get 2 holding penalties there. Again, I don't know exactly sure what the referee is looking at. I mean, I can see his eye contact is right there, folks. I mean, maybe you missed that one, and I guess that's fair. That's a tough one, but I don't understand how you missed that one or that one. So there are potentially 3 opportunities to call holding on this, but this guy looking right at it just decides to miss it. And look, hey, look, it's the preseason for refs too. Look, get all the issues out now. When the regular football starts happening, I'm sure they'll be perfect, right? But anyway, let's get back to Gillotte. So he undercuts it right there, forces the running back to bubble out at least. Again, if you can't make the play in this situation by forcing the running back to wide out, you run him into your help. But again, it's what happens next with Gillotte. It's a common theme. Makes a play, does some good work to help his teammates out, but it's his effort and his finish, and he ends up making the tackle at the end of it. Again, is it the greatest rep of all time? No. The fact that he undercuts it like this makes me wonder if he was supposed to or not. No, the fact that the safety you see at the top right part of your screen, he's sprinting downhill, I think this was a design. I think he goes inside and the safety's replacing in terms of the gap assignment. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't know what it was called. But right here, does a good job, takes 2 blockers, safety's able to fill. Should have been called for holding from one of these Arizona Cardinal offensive linemen, but he fights through it anyway and ends up making the play to boot. Great rep. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Gillotte right here. At the snap, he's going to go in between the tackle and guard right there, splits it. You can see right here, see how the running back has to bubble? He wants to stay at an angle. He wants to attack the line of scrimmage right here. He wants to run right to this tight end's butt right there, just like that. But right here, he sees Gillotte now. He's going to get wide. So he's got to widen out, allows the safety to get there, and then the teammates to finish. And again, Gillotte, once again, playing with high effort, high speed, high motor, does his job, does it well, and then finishes it with making the play. Great rep here from the rookie. All right, let's talk about Gillotte as a versatile playmaker. There he is right there on the left side of your screen, lined up at defensive end at 5 technique. It's a third down situation, so usually 99 times out of 100, you're pass rushing if you're a defensive end. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they view Gillotte as a multifaceted tool they can use a bunch of different ways. So they actually fire a linebacker right here and drop Gillotte into coverage, right? Normally how it would work, of course, is the linebacker would drop into coverage and then Gillotte would pass rush. Not this instance. Now, Gillotte doesn't make the play directly, but I think he screws up the timing with the receiver running a slant behind him just enough to result in an incomplete pass. This is a really interesting decision by the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it says a lot of how they view Gillotte. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the linebacker's firing. You can see Gillotte right there. He's dropping into coverage. You can see he's directly affecting the wide receiver. Receiver drops the ball, 4th down. I guarantee you the Chiefs don't call this kind of defense. I mean, this is a preseason game. This is the first preseason game. They're doing zone blitzes like it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dick LeBeau in the early 1990s. I'll tell you what, that's because they really like Ashton Gillotte, right? I mean, look how well he plays this. Again, I don't think he wants to be a zone cover player. I think he's a natural pass rusher, but he can get it done, right? Interfering with the receiver a little bit. By interfering, I mean just getting rid of the timing, making it harder for the receiver to catch the football, harder to focus. Hey, listen, I'd have a hard time focusing too if I'm running a slant and I see a defensive end within 3 inches of my face mask. But this is what you can do when you trust rookies, when you trust guys to be good playmakers. Again, you don't do this all the time, but just the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs defensive staff, Spagnuolo and company, they believe he can operate with this kind of flexibility, this kind of versatility. I think it's a sign they really trust him for big things this season. All right, for the wide copy, you can see it right there. He gets one step in his pass rush, drops into coverage. You can see the receiver. He's going to feel Gillotte. You guarantee it. In fact, Gillotte may have touched him there just a little bit. That's clearly not pass interference. He may have just, again, affected the throw, affected the route just a little bit. Guarantee the quarterback seeing him. It's part of his mindset. Throws it away from Gillotte, right? Makes it a much harder catch. Receiver maybe slows down a beat because he feels the defensive end. Again, you don't call this kind of defense. You don't call your defensive end, rookie defensive end, very first preseason game, dropping into coverage unless you want to see how he does, because you want to use him this way during the regular season. The Chiefs trust him, and you can see why. He's a versatile playmaker. All right, next play here. This is one of the funniest plays I've seen from anyone in a long time. And again, an effort of high motor right here from Gillotte. He lined up in a 5 technique. You can see they've got 2 tight ends outside of them. So a very heavy lineup just like this. And what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do, they're going to take their offensive lineman and kind of take this path just like this across the board, almost like it's inside zone this way. But they got a receiver they're timing up at the snap who they're going to give the ball to very quickly. And he's going to immediately try and hit outside just like this. So Gillotte goes unblocked. These tackles work up to the next level. As he goes unblocked, he sees the receiver run by him. He puts his foot in the ground, gets on his horse, and does his best to try and pursue. It's what happens after the fact that I think is pretty hilarious and indicative of Gilotte's level of effort. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the toss to the receiver coming. You can see the defense already out leveraged. You see Gillotte, he's beat outside just like this. Now, it's not his responsibility, I don't think, by the structure of the defense. It's just a really good design by the Arizona Cardinals. But he puts his foot in the ground and starts pursuing. He's coming in to make the tackle. And you see this poor old offensive lineman. He's kind of just pursuing about 3/4 speed. Again, he couldn't make the block in his own right. He's just hustling however he can. Again, like 3/4 speed. Gillotte right here, he's going to lay out to make the tackle. And boom, he tries to slingshot this offensive tackle directly into the receiver right there. Now, I don't know if this was intentional from Gillotte trying to get this Arizona Cardinal to attack that Arizona Cardinal. I'd like to think it was. In all probability, he was just running in his own right to make the play. But again, he ends up burying this guy from behind. It's a funny looking play. It's humorous to watch, no doubt, but it speaks to the level of effort and different speed he plays at. Look at what he's doing compared to other defensive linemen, right? You look at Omenihu, who is that, number 90, I think, right here on the left. He's again kind of jogging, 3/4 step. You see who's that, number 69 right here. Again, kind of half speed. He's kind of blocking, kind of playing a little patty cake with number 74 from Arizona. Who's the one guy going full bore, playing with reckless abandon? The rookie, Ashton Gillotte. After the wide copy, get a really good look at it. Again, good toss play. They got him completely out leveraged, foot in the ground, Friendly fire, not quite. Gillotte, I think he tried to throw him in here to make the tackle, but right there, I think he just says, hey, maybe I can throw him into number 4. But even if that wasn't his mindset, the fact that he's playing with such reckless abandon, so much speed, high motor, that this kind of thing happens, again, it's a great sign. You know how you get forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, things like that, 20, 30 yards downfield? It's with effort, it's with physicality, just like this. All right, let's end on one of those high effort plays from Ashton Gillotte. He's lined up right there in what I'll call a 6-eye technique, just inside the tight end, just like this. So we're going to get a screen game here from the Arizona Cardinals. We're getting a little play action inside, then the running back releasing into the flat, just like this. Then we're going to get all kinds of bodies downfield. It's a really successful play for the Arizona Cardinals. But again, Ashton Gillotte shows off his effort and his motor, hustling 30, 40, 50 yards to help make a tackle. It's this kind of effort that leads to championships. The Chiefs have proven it. Ashton Gillotte fitting right into that Kansas City culture. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap, little play action. Hit the running back. Really well-designed play. Blockers in place. Turns into a really nice play downfield for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see you into making the play, though. Let's watch how this all shakes out, right? So you've got linebackers right here dropping into coverage. This linebacker right here, supposed to be a really good athlete, right? He's a linebacker right there. Ashton Gillotte running right there, too. Running right there with him. Finishing at just about the same time. Again, the effort, the intensity, the 1-2, getting to the football, playing with a high motor. Again, I don't want to pick on a Minihu too much. I believe that's who number 90 is, but look at his motor. Look at 99's effort right there. And let's compare him right here to number 97, the rookie, Ashton Gillotte. Who's playing at championship speed? Who wants to win? Who wants to compete? It's the rookie. And this is what rookies can help do on a roster that's so used to winning. And I'm not saying this is the case here, but I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs at times, and the way they played sometimes last year proved it, a little bit complacent, right? They expect to win. They expect Chiefs and the Mahomes magic to eventually come through. But, sometimes you got to make your own magic, and sometimes you make it with effort, hustle, and intensity. We saw that during their 3-year Super Bowl title attempt for the most part. It fell apart, I think, at times last season. In order to rekindle some of that magic, you need to bring in young blood to kind of excite the defense, and I think Ashton Gillotte has a chance to do that. Again, he's a playmaker. He's versatile. We saw him in zone coverage. We saw him against the run, play side and backside, but he's a high effort, high motor, high intensity guy. Fits exactly what Reed and Veach want in this Chiefs culture. One of the better finds for him last draft.